guys, how are you? I'd like to welcome you to another episode of The Thai Life. And today we've got an interesting topic. A lot of the videos, you guys will know that I like to take you first person with me to different destinations, travel destinations in Asia, particularly in Thailand. But every once in a while, I'll do kind of an update video to let you guys know how things are here and what's going on. And today is one of those updates. I want to share with you what's going on in Thailand right now. For those of you that are finally starting to, things are finally starting to get to the point where we can almost think about that next vacation may not be too far in the distant future. I know a lot of us, including myself, are, we're gearing our brain back toward work and things like that. But what I'd like to do is give you an update to kind of help your planning process and help those of you that have loved ones here or, that want to come back to visit your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, etc., to help you understand kind of what's going on here and to give you an accurate picture of that. And I think the overall message today is going to be one of hope and that things are actually going pretty well here. I would have to say that Thailand is probably one of the most blessed places in the world as far as, this whole situation has gone. So what I'll do today is I'm going to talk about, what restrictions are in place. I'm going to talk about how business is doing and, discuss whether now is kind of a good time to come here on vacation and what that may look like. So before we get started, if you could do me a favor, if you could click the subscribe button below, click the bell notification so you can get updates and learn about the latest news. Also the latest videos. I really like to take you guys along and show you some of the amazing things that I see. What I really would love the most is for you to come and see these things yourself. And I'd love to have that discussion with you about, I saw that place you went, I went there myself. And I love to learn from viewers things that I didn't know about the location as well. And I've had that experience a few times now. So today, let's just jump into the topic of, what's it like here. So I'm going to start with kind of the restrictions and what's all happened. So basically, some of the restrictions here are they did cancel the big holiday, which is called Songkran. And Songkran is kind of like, I would compare the holiday to like an American Thanksgiving. So it's a time where the families come together from the different provinces. They eat together, they spend time together, they live together, they drink together usually as well. But they also have like a huge inner city water fight where everyone drives through. They put basically baby powder on faces, so it's an excuse for you to touch each other's faces and just have fun and dance in the street. But that was canceled this year, and I like to say that the Thai people kind of sacrificed that. And I think the effect of that, it was hard for people, but also I think it kind of saved a lot of lives because every year about 450 people die from drunk driving and alcohol related accidents. And since that didn't happen this year, in the COVID cases are supposedly at 54 deaths, that actually makes like a net positive of 400 people that wouldn't be alive otherwise are still alive. So I think that's great. It's probably gonna happen next year. We're probably gonna have Songkran even bigger next year, so who knows. But so that's already passed. The other restrictions that are still in place are basically there's a 10 o'clock at night until 4 o'clock in the morning curfew. In Thailand, there's a lot of things that really aren't enforced too heavily. A lot of rules are kind of, to quote Jack Sparrow, they're more guidelines, but this one is serious. Right now, I would say there's two major rules in Thailand, maybe three. Number one is don't do drugs. It's serious. You can't pay your way out of it. It's not worth it. Number two is don't break curfew, because they are enforcing it really well. The streets are empty. They're gonna see you. And I had the experience of being out on the street for curfew, past curfew about 20 minutes once before, and I was trying to find a resort, and the first one I went to is empty. Full. The second one full. I went to 7 before I got one with a vacancy, and at that point it was probably 30 minutes past curfew. But it's a serious situation, so I really don't recommend breaking curfew. There are exceptions to the rule. If you had a flat tire, if there's an emergency or something like that, you're visiting your parent for their last moments in the hospital. Okay, they're understanding about that, but it has to be kind of that level. Okay, and then the third rule in Thailand in general is just to be polite. As long as you're polite and have a smile on your face, things tend to go pretty well for you. Just like I've said in previous videos, Thailand is the land of smiles when you smile first. But when you smile first, it's magical. I highly recommend it. Don't be one of the foreigners walking around with a scowl on your face all day. You're going to get them back, and you're not going to have the same experience. Everyone loves, when people are nice to them and smile. So Thai people are just like that as well. So the other restriction right now, it's not really a restriction. Right now you cannot buy alcohol from main avenues. So from the equivalent of Costco, which is called Macro here, from the equivalent of Walmart here, which is called Tesco Lotus, in 7-Eleven, which is the same as 7-Eleven. Basically those places are not selling alcohol. But Thai people did get 2 weeks notice about this, so a lot of people, including my brother-in-law, went and spent thousands of dollars to buy alcohol and are reselling it right now. So you can pretty much buy anything you want, but you're going to pay a markup for it. But bars are not open. You can drink outside. You can, the laws on alcohol are really loose. They don't even have a drinking age here. So, alcohol, you can get it. You're just going to pay more for it. Now, switching gears to the business, I will say I own a nail salon here, and that's closed. And for us, it looks like we're going to be closed until the end of the month. So basically June 1st is when we expect to finally be able to open. Somehow nail salons got tied together with massage shops. So basically nail salons and massage shops will be the last ones to open. So this entire time you've actually been able to order from restaurants. So you can, they have like Grab Eats here, not so much in my area, but generally around Thailand. But bigger here is called Food Panda. And so it's like a motorcycle delivery service, and generally it's free for the consumer, and it costs the restaurant about $1, and a little bit more depending on how far away the person is. So so basically Food Panda has been able to expand a lot. You see a ton of drivers, and they're daredevils. They're just, if I'm riding, I have a big motorcycle, and if I'm driving, like, let's just say 65 miles an hour on a real motorcycle, they'll pass me by 20 or 30 miles an hour on a scooter. So they're really hauling butt all the time. But they're kind of like the unofficial heroes of this whole situation. They've allowed us to get our food at home, our drinks, our snacks, and so forth. So, it's turned into a good thing. People that have never tried it have tried it during this, and maybe they'll be successful just because of this situation, because of this happened. Now, restaurants now, as of May 1st, can have 25% capacity outside. So you can actually sit outside of a restaurant, like on the sidewalk, at a table, up to 25% capacity, and that just started, and that's been very nice. The only unfortunate thing is if a restaurant, and this is kind of weird, but if a restaurant has air conditioning, you can't sit inside in the air conditioning, which kind of sucks. And it's also weird because today also, or yesterday, hair salons opened, and hair salons can be air conditioned and you can be inside, but they're supposed to, they're supposed to basically be 25% capacity also. So there's a lot of rules that they don't necessarily make sense, but everyone's just complying with it because just frankly, everyone's just so happy to be open in any capacity right now. So if you have your hair done, which a lot of people, I've been using my beard trimmer to cut my hair. My wife's been doing it and been very nice. But basically, a lot of people have been getting really shaggy, so you can get your haircuts. Guys can get guy cuts. But if you're a woman and you want to have your hair dyed or even blow dried, you can't do that. So supposedly you're supposed to basically go in the nail salon, in the hair salon, and they'll even you out and they'll do basic things, but they're not going to color and so forth. My suspicion is that people are going to quickly start to add those things in as the month goes on. So I think things are going to slowly start getting to normal, because even after a couple of days, things are starting to feel a lot more normal here. People are continuing to wear masks, and in the salons, especially the workers and everybody are using a lot of alcohol, a lot of masks. And in a big difference between now and the beginning of the situation is alcohol and masks you can buy everywhere. Every entrepreneur in Thailand, including me, bought a bunch of masks for resale and a bunch of alcohol. And so all of us are loaded up. I've got enough masks to make it through 2 more apocalypse, so I'm happy about that. So basically, the only businesses that are not open right now is massage shops and nail salons. So, as you can see up here, here's Bobby Nails. I basically go in there, once a week to sweep it out because somehow I have dirt that blows under the front door. Basically to sweep it out, check on everything, and just make sure everything's, make sure I didn't leave the air conditioning on a week ago or something like that. And then, which I actually almost did today. I pushed the button for the air conditioner and it beeped, and I walked out and I forgot my keys. My wife had her keys, I didn't have mine. And when I came in, the air conditioner was on. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I didn't just have to pay a week's 24-hour week, 24-hour days for a week of air conditioning bill. So, so anyway, we're supposed to open up, massage shops and nail shops are supposed to open up on June 1st. So we're excited for that, and I think that's really going to happen because everyone else is open. It would be weird to not let us open at this point. Especially after waiting an extra month. So I feel pretty good about that. And the only thing that we don't know about yet is when the bars are going to open. So if there's a plan or some date for that to happen, I'm not aware of it. I haven't heard anything, and nobody that I know is aware of when that's going to happen. So, so basically, as far as like the police here and as far as the government, like how are they? Are they scary? Are they nice? I would still say that the police and the government here are being very, very nice. They're being very polite. They have to enforce these federal guidelines. They come from like the current king of Thailand, King Rama X. They come from the Prime Minister of Thailand. Don't even ask me his name, I'm not sure. The Prime Minister. And they come down and if these things aren't obeyed, it reflects poorly on them. And it makes them lose face. And that's probably the worst thing in Thailand you can do is make anyone lose face, especially the leaders. So that's kind of where some of this is coming from. And but that being said, outside of the news, as far as the reality on the ground, everyone's been very nice. We have people in the government that have contacted us that are really want to help us. They're going to let us know as soon as we can open if we're able to do it earlier. One thing I have noticed is they are encouraging, like when they talk to us, to like, hey, do you know of any other nail shops that are opening right now that aren't supposed to be open? And we actually do. some people, even against the restrictions, are opening, and they ask us if we know anybody, and we actually say no. And in Thailand, this is one thing that I really respect about Thai people, is that everyone tries to stay within their own business, tries to, they don't want to get involved in someone else's story. And so, that's one thing I really respect about my wife, is literally her and I were just talking about one of our competitors that's open, and the government called. She had this conversation, and they asked her, do you know someone that's open? Nope, have no idea. So I really like that, because, not to get, I definitely don't want to get political, but I grew up watching shows about like East Germany, about how neighbors tell on each other and people enforce on each other. And I've been kind of worried about that happening here. And I think for the most part, it doesn't. People like to stay in their own business. That's a great part of Thai culture that I really respect. So that's the current business situation. A lot of people, you'll see that everyone's adopted their business. No one's been able to keep their business model the same as it was before. So you'll see restaurants that have actually moved their whole kitchens from comfortable, nice place inside, air conditioned, to the outside. And they're doing that to attract more traffic, the cars that are driving by. You'll see that they've adapted their menu for the motorcycle delivery. There's people that have imported different kinds of plasticware, actually pretty nice reusable stuff, honestly, for delivery, so it doesn't spill, when the motorcycle guys are daredeviling through town. So I would say that this has really proven that the Thai people are very resilient. And as far as, should you come here, is now a good time to visit here and so forth. I would say yes and no. If you want to make a big difference for the Thai people, and you love Thailand and you want to be part of the recovery, and if you're in a position to leave safely, at the right time, whenever that is for you, and can come here, enjoy yourself, spend money, the people are still the same loving, sweet, funny, nice, open people that they were before. The government's still really, kind to foreigners. There are exceptions, but effectively, outside of the news, the national news, what I'm seeing on a daily basis is people love tourists. There's very few of us right now, which makes them appreciate us even more. So if you want to make a big difference to Thailand, I think come as soon as you can. Now, I will say, coming here long term is harder than it used to be. So if you want to come here and stay for 8 months or a year, that's harder. They're kind of transitioning on how they're going to handle long-term tourists and retirees and so forth. As far as retiring right now, Vietnam and Cambodia are actually better options. Thailand, there's not a straight option anymore. There's not a straight option for living here permanently. And I can't go into on video what's actually involved, but I'll just say this, there's not a straight process. But as far as visiting, you want to visit for a month, easy. You want to visit for 3 months, 4 months, not a problem. It's just when you start getting longer, 7, 8 months, that it starts to become more of a challenge. So just be aware of that, and be aware that Thailand did have a big regime change just about less than 2 years, about 2 years ago. All right, so there's still some transition, and I think things are going to get better as far as like retiring here and so forth. But right now, unless you have a Thai spouse and some money in the bank, there's better options. Basically, Cambodia, you can renew your visa as long as you want. In Vietnam is actually a lot of the U.S. manufacturing that's moving out of China is moving to Vietnam, and I hope a lot of that ends up moving to Thailand as well. I would really love to see that. So, I definitely think coming here, if you're a tourist and you want to feel special and you want to get noticed and attention, now's a great time. now's a great time to make a difference here. And but if you came here 2 years ago or 3 years ago and you saw like this vibrant scene, this vibrant bar scene, and you saw really active streets and lights, a lot of businesses open, it's probably like 20% of what it used to be. So be aware of that. So if you've been here 3 years ago, it's going to be very diminished between like the economic downturn they had before this and now this situation. It's caused a real downturn. However, I've been here over 2 years myself, and I can say that it's still fun. It's still interesting. There's still really cute, fun people, and I have new stories pretty much every day, that people are interested in hearing, so definitely recommend coming here. I appreciate you guys very much. Thanks for hanging in for this update. I hope this is helpful. In the near future, the restrictions in the next month, restrictions are going to be loosened quite a bit. So I plan on going to southern Thailand to go to Phuket and Hua Hin and doing some beach destinations. Haven't been to the ocean for a long time, so please subscribe and click the bell notifications. And the next thing that's going to be coming is I'm going to start discussing in more detail like some of the North Thai food. So I'm going to have Angun come on and basically show us how to cook, talk about some of the different dishes. If you have a high spice tolerance, low tolerance, if you like anchovy sauce, or if you don't like anything fishy, we'll have something for everybody. So we're excited about that. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day or evening.